Time for Paul Catalina's 5 at 5:55.
All right, this one is because it's Fun Friday. So Eddie Murphy's seminal classic, Coming to America, has a sequel coming out next week on March 5th. And so I thought I would give people like Armstrong and Jack, who have not gotten to experience the gloriousness of 1980s and very early 90s Eddie Murphy, a top 5 list. And for Smokey, too, but I actually am sure Smokey's probably seen a couple of these. But
is this when he was a king, or he all dressed up?
Prince, yeah.
He had all that fancy clothing.
That'll be one of them. Or, the sequel, that's what's coming out.
So, all right, number 5, 48 Hours. This one, Smokey, you would like. This cop movie. Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy's he's a convict. And
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's good. The sequel is terrible, but the first one is excellent. It's very funny. Nick Nolte's actually funny in this, if you can believe that about Nick Nolte. Number 4, this is one Armstrong has seen.
Was he in the Jaws? Nick Nolte. What was this show? What was the one he was in a movie about deep sea? Who?
Blue Chips was the basketball movie they was doing with Shaq and Anthony Hardaway.
I thought Nick Nolte was also in a movie where he was. It was about deep sea diving with Jacqueline Bisset.
Oh, I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut there, Smokey. I'm impressed.
I can't believe I remember that.
Number 4, Bowfinger. This movie is Steve Martin. Armstrong, you've seen this one.
I have.
Yeah.
They show it to you in film school because there's a lot of film jokes in there. You know?
Yeah, it's very funny. Eddie Murphy, in his best movies, he plays 2 parts, at least 2. And he plays 2 parts in this movie.
Waco native Steve Martin.
Yeah, yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah.
The Deep, by the way, was that
I don't
Nick
think
Nolte?
he really.
I
don't think he really claims it all that much, but he's originally from here.
Yeah, born at Connolly Air Force Base. Yeah. Number 3, number 3, Beverly Hills Cop. And Beverly Hills Cop 2 also can go in this, but the Beverly Hills Cop, the scene alone when he checks into the Beverly Palm Hotel is one of the best, just fast comedy scenes of Eddie Murphy greatness.
Yeah, it's a great movie, and this is legit my ringtone.
Yeah,
is it
It's
really?
legit my ringtone. Yeah.
Wow.
And the theme song, yeah, it's a great movie. And really, I mean, and Eddie was really in his hot, his sweet spot here in this era. Number 2, Trading Places. Dan Aykroyd, very funny movie. Eddie gets to really, kind of go nuts here and be Eddie. And again, it's a great movie about, if you want to watch how much of a con the stock market is, Trading Places, all that stuff that was going on with Reddit and GameStop and all that, all I could think about, Craig, was this movie.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what they do in this movie.
Yeah, that GameStop stock is back up again, so they can't even really figure it out at this point. At least you could point to a Reddit thread and group and say that, and it's, I guess, still somewhat involved with that, but they can't even really explain now why the stock still is going up. It's crazy.
Can they live stream the first board meeting after it? They get to a point where they have to do something about it.
I don't know what they do eventually because you can't really stop people from buying the stock. So,
but it has to be worth. I mean, this company has to do something. If it was Pfizer and then you're buying it because they're going to have a vaccine. They've got to make the vaccine, right?
They do make money. When you go and sell them something, they charge you or they pay you nothing for it, basically, and then charge 4 times for it. But the Trading Places is a classic. I said this earlier that the 2000s had its kind of frat buddy comedy renaissance, and the 90s had some good movies as well. But I think the 80s comedy scene was probably the greatest ever. Just the number of stars and just great movies.
Yeah. And number 1, and because of is Coming to America, which I will die on the hill of. I think it's the funniest movie ever made. I mean, it is. When you people write a movie, they say they want to laugh a minute in a movie, and it's more than that. I mean, it is. The barbershop scene in this movie is a classic. If you have not seen Coming to America, the sequel's coming out on Friday. You got to watch Coming to America.
Tonight?
Next from Friday.
Don't be the person that sees the sequel of Coming to America before seeing the original that's been out for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
It's illegal.
And look, I can tell you, this movie holds up. It's not one of those ones sometimes you tell somebody to watch a movie from the 80s that's in your generation, Jack and Armstrong, and you're like, well, it's kind of a corny movie from the 80s. This movie holds up. It's very funny. None of the references are dated or anything. I mean, it's just...
Does that have James Earl Jones? Is that right?
James Earl Jones plays the king. That's his dad, and it's got, look, you see a bunch of people in their first role. Like Cuba Gooding Jr. is in the barbershop getting a haircut. It's his first role ever. Samuel L. Jackson has a very small role, his first role ever in this movie. And his role is funny, man.
Arsenio Hall?
Arsenio Hall, yeah, is the co-star of it. Very good. You know, just...
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I think I've seen about 3 or 4 of those at some point. I really had. Jack and
impressed.
Armstrong, you've seen any of those? None of them? One of them. Okay.
Which one have you seen, Jack? Beverly Hills Cop?
Beverly Hills Cop. All right. All right. Thanks to all of our guests we mentioned them just a minute ago. Thanks to Armstrong.